Hello everyone and welcome back to Cheese McCorner. Today's video is going to be a little different. We're going to be talking about The Last Resort, where Coco and I talk about things that stood out to me throughout the episode. So it's going to be a pretty short video and let's get started. We got to see the couples put rocks into their backpacks where they wrote down compromises on what each couple wanted the other person to do. Mainly, we have to talk about Ari and Benny. Because the moment they started walking, things were already so awkward. You can tell that Bini doesn't even want to be there in the first place. I'm still convinced that Ari was the one that forced him to be in the therapy, and he just wants to go home and he really wants his passports. You can already see them climbing up on the mountain, and the moment that Ari notices that Stacy's getting carried by Florian, she loses her mind, because one of the things that she wrote on her rock is affection. And she's trying to push Bini into being affectionate with her when you can clearly tell that's not what he wants to do just yet. Bini does what Ari asked him to do. And during that moment, you can tell that Bini was incredibly uncomfortable because Ari is on top of him. The rocks are hurting his back. And when he tells her to get down, that's when everything starts to go to shit.
Something to keep in mind, right, is that they haven't seen the rocks yet. If I remember correctly, at the end of the challenge, they have a moment where they pause and they pull out the rocks and then they exchange the rocks and read the rock for the first time.
I think what's making me confused about that is that Sophie and Rob told each other what the rocks said before they went on their walk. So that's why I'm thinking that they read it before and not after the challenge.
So does that change anything for you for that?
I mean, no, because we already know that what Benny wants is respect. He's been asking for that since the beginning. I think when you already notice that your partner is pushing away from you when it comes to affection, you shouldn't push it. You shouldn't just try to do it over and over again, and especially because there's limits, and I think there's a ladder and she's trying to climb up to the top when she hasn't even taken the first step.
The biggest thing to keep in mind is that she's asking for something and he doesn't even know about it yet, and so they're clashing because one wants something and the other one, what they want are polar opposites. And for them to come to an agreement, they kind of have to show each other the rocks first. And I think that maybe Ari was trying to accomplish it before Bini even knew what she really wanted to obtain from the challenge.
Yeah, but even then, when they get up to the hill and they're exchanging the rocks with each other, once Ari tells him that she wants more affection, she forces him to start holding her hand. She forces him to do eye contact for 30 seconds. And even after he does it, she hates it. She tells him that he didn't try hard enough and that what he did was not good. They have this like awkward moment where she tells him, I need you to stare at me for 30 seconds because that's what I want. I want affection. That was not even part of the challenge. But no, Ari wanted to make sure that there was more added to this challenge. And at times it felt like she was treating him like a child and just asking him to do extra things like stare at me for 30 seconds. And if he's not doing it like, oh, baby, I love you so much, then it's not good enough for her.
Ari's challenge was what they were provided. Bini's challenge was trying to juggle Ari's emotions.
I don't even think he cares about her emotions.
What I care about is if you and I can accomplish the 30-second. Let's go. Stare at me. 30 seconds, Karen. Deeper.
This is really weird.
Deeper. Let's move on to the next couple.
I mean, Jasmine and Gino. That's a big one because we're finding out that Jasmine has been cheating on Gino this entire time. She keeps telling us that that's not the case. One of the things that she had written down in her rock was freedom, independence. And she says that Gino doesn't allow her to be independent or free. And I think is something where I try to look at what both of them are doing. My mother actually experienced kind of what Jasmine has experienced without the whole cheating part and all the other things, where this person would do those things intentionally, where he wouldn't allow her to get a car, he wouldn't allow her to drive, he would do all these things to keep her away from becoming independent. But I feel like we haven't seen that with Gino as much as Jasmine says it happens. I understand that maybe Gino wants to be a little bit more conservative with his money and he doesn't want to do a lot of things. But I mean, Gino has provided for Jasmine in a lot of other areas, and maybe it's not exactly what she wants, which is like, oh, give me a car. But I mean, what about the boob job? What about the BBL that she got? What about providing for her kids? Like, all those things sometimes go unnoticed because of all the drama that happens surrounding them. And they got into a whole last argument where Gino was not even allowed to tell her what his rock said. I think it's selfish that Jasmine didn't even allow him to do that. And especially when we get to find out later that Jasmine is on the phone with Matt. Like, I don't believe that's your friend. I'm 100% positive that that's someone that you're cheating on with. And I think that Jasmine is trying to give us this story of, oh yeah, Matt wants me to try to fix things with my husband, because that's what he was doing on the phone. He was like, oh, you went there to fix your marriage with Gino. You went there to try to work things out. And she's trying to paint this picture of, yeah, Matt is just a friend and he has been helping me out to get back to my marriage. And then she's gonna go, but eventually I just fell in love with him. And we became more than friends.
What woman calls their best guy friend on a couple's marriage retreat therapeutic event? It's super odd.
It is super odd. It's like, this is a guy that you are training with, that you're going to the gym with, that listens to you, understands you, according to her.
And just pointing out, Jasmine hasn't even told Gino about Matt, has she?
No, she hasn't told him yet. She keeps lying to him about it. And she also told him that she was at a friend's house. Even last episode, when Gino asked Jasmine, hey, are you cheating on me? Jasmine said, don't ask questions that you don't want answers to. So
Does it bother you to think that it almost feels like Jasmine and Gino are here just for the vacation and maybe the paycheck and nothing else, because it seems
like their marriage
decided?
is over?
Yeah.
It does, because it takes away from other couples being there. We can get other couples onto the show and we're stuck here with Jasmine and Gino. Yes, they bring in the drama, but they were already done at this point. She's already checked out. She doesn't care. She would rather be with Matt than with Gino.
Well, I want to be free.
I want to be
free from this conversation. So let's move on to Plastic Girl.
Stacy, I guess we can just talk about how Florian does not seem to be in love with Stacy. I think Stacy loves Florian so much that she doesn't realize that this man does not love her as much as she loves him. And we can also title them the parents of the last resort, because they're playing the pairing card with all the other couples. So that's kind of funny to see.
Yeah, Florian is more like Stacy's bro that has sexual relationships with him.
With her.
With her, right, yes. They have sexual relationships, but that's also his best bro.
Yeah, it is.
Girl bro. Let's dive into Sophie and Rob.
Oh, God.
Before we touch on their arguments, their discussions, what do you think about Sophie's outfit?
I mean,
I thought it was funny that she was the only one with boobies out.
technically she wasn't the only one, because Jasmine had her boobies out too.
No, but you could see...
Okay, well, yeah, you could see Sophie's boobies out, but I mean, Sophie is there for the Fashion Nova sponsors.
Oh, the sponsor, get that money, girl.
You know, you gotta get the money, and you can't blame her, because I'm pretty sure that those outfits that she was wearing were from like a sponsor or something, and she has to show them off. I mean, I would.
Me too. Definitely. So what about their drama?
I mean, it's just a lot to say, I guess. I'm gonna try to sum it up as much as I can. But...
No, me first. I got this faster.
Okay, tell us how you feel about
Rob is mad that Sophie's lying to him, and Sophie's mad that Rob just doesn't get it. And that's it. Even though Sophie did lie and she's not owning up to it, Rob has reason to be upset. But Sophie just keeps bouncing back to, he's holding on, he's trying to blame something on me, and that's it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened in this episode. Sophie was like, no, I don't want to talk about this. It is not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. You're focusing on something that happened years ago, not realizing that Rob is not mad about her sleeping with her best friend. Rob is mad about her lying, because if Rob would have done that, Sophie would still hold it to this day against him. And I do understand where Sophie comes from when she's saying that she wants a little bit more compassion coming from Rob, because Rob does tend to do this thing where he gets angry about something and he'll start to escalate his voice. He'll start to get frustrated with her. But also Sophie tends to do this thing where if things are not going her way, she runs away like a baby. Like, my children act like that. They get mad. And Sophie literally did that this episode. She ran away. The therapist had to go get her. They had to hold their hands through the entire therapy session so they could finish.
Knowing what we know now, do you think that there was any saving grace for them?
I don't think so. I think Sophie was never going to let go of what happened, and Rob was just too tired of it. I do think that Rob tried to fix their marriage more than Sophie did. Like, he put way more effort into it. And I also feel like Sophie had already checked out a long time ago. And she was just there to try to see if, like, Rob was going to start doing everything that she wanted him to do. The problem is that Sophie keeps raising the bar over and over again. And he can never make her happy. It's never enough for her. And that's fine if that's what you want in your life. But Rob is not that guy. Rob is not going to continue to do these things for you over and over again.
That's why Natalie calls him out, though, right? Or that's why Natalie calls
Sophie out.
Because of the fact that it's kind of what people are able to see.
Because Natalie feels like Sophie's not trying and Rob is the one putting a lot of effort into the relationship. But it's also questionable because Natalie is there just to stir up drama.
She's the mean girl.
Yeah, she's the mean girl. She does not care about anyone's emotions. And she doesn't like Sophie to begin with. So she already has reasons to pick on her. And she might not even see the entire relationship and how everything has played out. But I mean, the last episodes of Sophie's and Rob's relationship, they did not look good on Sophie. Sophie was definitely the one that didn't want to push for a better relationship. She was always running away. Nothing was ever good enough. And Rob was just there, like, trying to figure things out.
Do you think because Kim's not there?
Kay. It's just Kay.
Do you think because Kay's not there to hold Sophie's hand or provide someone to run away to, that we'll probably get more deeper conversations or more of their backstory this go around? Because we already know the outcome, but do you think we'll at least see those conversations unfold, or will this just be Sophie running away most of the time?
I feel like Sophie's gonna keep running away. I don't think that Sophie's there to fix things. I think Sophie is there to have Rob admit that he fucked up again. That's all. Like, I think that's all she wants.
I bring up the point about Sophie running away because their story pretty much ends in that episode with Sophie essentially running away from Rob, sitting on her own little table, and taking a seat next to the only couple that looks strong so far during the season, which is...
Yes, Julie and Brandon.
Right. And so they're interesting because when we look at them, on the surface, they look united and they're the only ones that look united.
Yes, even when they're angry at one another.
But when we go deeper into that iceberg, they're standing on sticks almost, because it's going to come down to children and family and they're not on the same page.
I think that relationship pains my heart the most, just because I do not want to see them break up. I feel like both of them love each other deeply. And the child thing is something that you just can't let go of. And we got a little bit more of an insight when it comes to their conversation about children, which is the fact that Brandon and Julia had talked about this. And Julia had said, I'll think about it. I'm open to the idea of having kids. And now that the conversation is becoming reality, she doesn't want to have kids. And Brandon wants children. I don't know where this is gonna go, to be honest with you. I feel like this is going to break them, or this is just gonna bring them together. There's no middle ground right here, especially because Julia is also asking Brandon to bring her family, her dad and her mom, to the US. And the way she's going about it is a little bit like, are you sure this is how you want to do things? Because there's a moment where she says that she doesn't really care if Brandon helps her or not, because she's going to do it by herself. And Brandon doesn't want to help her bring her parents because they're divorced. And he thinks that their relationship is already falling apart and her parents are only going to aggravate the situation. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with them. But I hope that they can work things out.
Me too. One thing that sticks out to me is that Brandon and Julia are polar opposites, but usually opposites attract. My concern with them is that they're almost too far opposite enough that it does attract them, but they don't complement each other enough with their differences, because Brandon doesn't like to party at all, it seems like, for example. And we kind of get glimpses of that in the next episode.
Yeah, for the next episode.
But where Julia is often talked about by a lot of couples, that she's the life of the party, she's very active. So it's interesting to see that the opposites do attract, and that still seems to be the case. But it doesn't look like it's enough to hold people together sometimes when you're too far apart.
Yeah, because it feels like at times they might not share common interests on a lot of things. And what are you sharing with your partner in that sense? It seems like nothing so far. I mean, they communicate with each other well, it seems like. And it seems like they also have a great relationship. But I don't know if that's going to keep them together. And I don't think that's going to be enough. I think there needs to be more.
What is enough for Natalie, and we'll move on to Natalie and Josh real quick, is that she's finally going to hopefully be able to see Josh's house.
Because she wants to burn it down.
More than likely, or be able to...
or put cameras.
Yeah, I feel like she's going to come into the house with the Blu-ray light and scan the whole house up and down.
Totally. Yeah. Put bombs inside every single room.
Set
booby traps.
Indoor cameras.
She wants to see who's coming in that house.
And who's not coming out of that house when she finds out. That's a good way to look at it, if you ask me.
Yeah, very good way to look at it. I think their relationship is fake. I think that Natalie is here to stir up drama, like I've said many times. She loves to be on TV, and we do know that she's trying to jumpstart her acting career. So here she is doing just that.
One of the bigger things that I admire about Josh is that he's made it pretty clear that he has no interest in Natalie, and this is just for sexual gain. Unfortunately,
oh my god, it is
not even discreet. It's not hidden.
It's just, Natalie is not someone you marry. I'm sorry, but God, like, she's just insane. Like, Natalie is not someone that you get into a relationship with. Natalie is someone that you date, like Josh is doing, and you let her go. You date her for 3-5 years, and then out of nowhere you tell her, hey, I never wanted you. And then you find someone, you know them for about a year, you propose, and you marry them. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
I would string Natalie along for at least like another 6 months.
We know you would.
Resort. After the resort, though, girl. Come on.
Why after the resort?
Because I think Liz is still in a relationship with whoever that guy was that fought Big Ed.
So you still want Liz?
I gotta get her back.
I thought you were with Vanya now.
Vanya's going to single life. She's already forgotten about me. I don't even care about her anymore.
Oh, man.
She's so 2024. We're about to hit 2025.
But would you rather have crazy Natalie or sweet bubbly Vanya?
She's vegan.
So what? She's not gonna eat you.
I kind of like that.
You kind of want someone to eat you?
Yes, please. Thanks for coming to the Fue Coco show, guys.
No, thanks for coming to Cheeseman Corner, because that's what this is. This is not his show, but thank you guys for coming along. I know this is a little bit different, but I wanted to go ahead and do something different. I ran out of time for the last resort to do like a fully in-depth analysis and recap and commentary and all of this other stuff. As always, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This video will be available to my members only first, and then I'll go ahead and post it for everyone else to see. But that is all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye. Bye.